Cayetano is just among the family names often seen in the official ballot almost every election. This was started by the late lawyer Renato Compañero Cayetano, who was then elected assemblyman in the mid-80s and senator in the late 90s. Eventually, the latter's principles inspired his family, urging his children Pia, Alan, Ren, and Lino to follow his footsteps. But of the said siblings, Alan has set his sights higher. This Cayetano, based on his profile, entered public service at a very young age. His political idealism was first shown during his college years, when the political science student ran and won in the University Student Council of the University of the Philippines, Diliman. Later on, after pursuing law school at the Ateneo de Manila University, Alan Cayetano was admitted to the Philippine Bar in 1998. In his profile, it was also stated that Cayetano was still in law school when he started his journey in Philippine politics. At the age of 21, he became councilor in Taguig City. At 24, vice mayor of then municipality of Taguig. At 27, representative in the 11th Congress. 10 years after, Cayetano became the chairman of the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee. At 39, Senate Minority Leader and among the youngest contenders for the Senate presidency. Also at that age, Cayetano was awarded as one of the top outstanding young men in 2010, following his exemplary work in government and public service. In the early part of his political career, Cayetano has already pledged to be an enemy of graft and corruption. This can be proven with his active participation in the inquiries conducted in Congress. It can be noted that in both upper and lower chambers, Cayetano authored more than 40 bills, 6 of which have been passed into law. He also co-authored over 100 measures, 46 of which have become law. Among these include the Public Employment Service Office or PESO Act, Anti-Money Laundering Act of 2001, the Overseas Absentee Voting Act of 2003, an act governing the establishment, operations, and regulation of lending companies, a measure to strengthen the University of the Philippines as national university, Anti-Camcording Act of 2010, Expanded Senior Citizens Act of 2010, strengthening of the Magna Carta for PWDs, an act providing for mandatory basic immunization services for infants and children, and the Domestic Workers Act. Now, Cayetano aims to continue these advocacies with Davao City Mayor Rodrigo Duterte if elected in upcoming national polls. Vying for the vice presidential seat, Cayetano further pledged to run after criminals and drug lords, spread economic growth, build a Mindanao railway system.
But everywhere in the Philippines, the budget is only 2 to 4%. 1 trillion goes to Metro Manila. So just by having regional development, for example, Cebu, if we allowed them 10 years ago to bid out their own projects, they will have an MRT by now. If you allowed Mindanao to bid out their own projects, you will have a 200-kilometer railway system by now.
Improve the mobility of people and goods, as well as the labor conditions for Filipino workers by exempting the poorest from tax. Cayetano also promised to double the salaries of teachers and create adequate classrooms for students, as well as to establish a single permanent emergency response department in charge of disaster preparedness, relief, and rehabilitation. For One Vote 2016, Honolin Pisco.